Believe, and you're here again in the office of the Always Believe House. Yesterday we wrote lines that were parallel to another line. Today we're going to write lines that are perpendicular to another line. Before we need to do that, we need to figure out what happens when you have perpendicular lines. What properties do the slopes have? So get out Star Review 7. Get out Star Review 7. We did this yesterday. And we're going to talk about two of the lines you graphed in Star Review 7. Okay? So let me start recording or I'll be talking for nothing. And we are recording. Oh, and a magical whiteboard appears with Star Review 7 on it. Now then, on the first line, on line number 1, which is my red line on this picture, the slope was 2. Okay, so I'm going to circle that slope. And then on line number 3, the slope was -1/2. So I have a slope of 2 over 1 and I have a slope of -1 over 2. And if you notice, the red line and the green line, form a 90-degree angle right here. They form a 90-degree angle. If you put a piece of paper over that, it makes a perfect right angle. Now then, what do you notice about these slopes? What do you notice about 2 over 1 and -1 over 2? This always happens with perpendicular lines. If you flip, they both have the same numbers, right? One of them has 2 over 1 and one of them has -1 over 2. So you got to flip it, and then one line's going to go up and the other's going to go down. You're going to have opposite sign slopes. So perpendicular lines have slopes that are opposite reciprocals. Perpendicular lines have slopes that are opposite reciprocals. One more time. Perpendicular lines have slopes that are opposite reciprocals. Now then, let's go to today's lesson. Okay, in today's lesson, we're going to do the same thing as yesterday, but we're going to have perpendicular lines. So at the top of the page, let's write down 3 over 2. Let's say I have a line that has a slope over 3 over 2 and I want the perpendicular line. You're going to draw an arrow, draw a perpendicular symbol, and then we want the opposite reciprocal. So what will I do with 3 over 2? I'll flip it and switch the sign. It's going to switch to -2 over 3. Those two slopes will be perpendicular. Let's do another one. Let's say I have -3. To make -3 a fraction, I need to put it over 1. You're going to draw an arrow, put a perpendicular symbol, and I'm going to flip the fraction and switch the sign. So if I flip 3 over 1, I'll get 1 over 3, and negative will become a positive, so my perpendicular slope will be 1 over 3. Oh! Now then, let's do 1/5. So let's say my slope's 1/5. Draw an arrow, put a perpendicular symbol. What do you get if you flip 1/5 and switch the sign? You'll get 5 over 1, which is 5, and the positive will turn to a negative. I'll have -5. Ho, 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 ho. So whatever the slope is, we're going to flip it and switch the sign. One more. Let's say we have, let's do -3/5. If I want a perpendicular slope, draw an arrow, put a perpendicular sign. I'm going to flip that slope and I'm going to switch the sign. So if I flip 3 over 5, I'll get 5 over 3, and the negative turns into a positive. So my perpendicular slope will be 5 over 3. Ho, 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 ho. And then we're going to do the same thing we did yesterday. So on this line, we're not going to have a parallel line. We're going to have a perpendicular line, which means we have to do the opposite reciprocal slope. So let's get rocking. You're going to do the same thing you did yesterday. So you're going to plug it into point slope. And remember, point slope is y1 minus, y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. We're going to plug it into point slope, then switch it to slope intercept, which is y equal mx plus b, or standard, which is ax plus by equals c. So piece of cake. So let's go to number 1. You're going to do the same thing you did yesterday. So above the point, put x and y, and then find your slope. Our slope is -6 over 5, right? So I'm going to write down m equals to -6 over 5. I'm going to draw an arrow, and then instead of parallel, I'm going to put a perpendicular symbol. Now then, the slope won't stay the same, will it? Like yesterday when it was parallel. I'm going to flip it and switch the sign. So my new slope will be positive 5 over 6. I'm going to put an m by that. So that's my m, and I have my x and my y, right? So let's plug that into point slope. So I'm going to have y, the opposite of plus 1 is minus 1, equals 5 over 6 parentheses x minus 1. Now then we have a fraction, so I'm going to distribute the denominator. I'm going to get rid of that fraction, right? So distribute the denominator, we need 3 sixes, and then we're going to multiply. 6 times y is 6y, 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. The 6's cancel out, so 5 is my bluebell truck. So I'll get 5x minus 5. Now then, I want slope-intercept form, so I need to move this 6 over, don't I? So I'm going to move this 6 over, I'm going to add 6, and I'll have 6y equals 5x plus 1. The last thing I need to do is divide by the 6, right? And I'll end up with y equals 5 over 6x plus 1 over 6. And that's the line that's perpendicular to y equal negative 6x, 6 over 5x minus 1 that goes through 1 comma 1. Okay, piece of cake. Let's rock and roll to number 2. So on number 2 it's in standard, so we need to do negative a over b, don't we? So draw a negative fraction bar. My a is 1 and my b is negative 1. 2 negatives makes a positive. So my slope is going to be 1 in it. So put 1 right here, draw an arrow, put a perpendicular symbol. If you flip 1 over 1, you get 1 over 1, but the positive will become a negative on it. So this is going to be my m. Now then, this is my x, this is my y. I'm going to plug it into point slope. So y plus 5 equals negative 1 parentheses x minus 5. So remember, the x and y switch signs and you just plug the slope in. Now then, I want standard form. This is easy. I don't have a fraction, so I'm going to distribute the negative 1. Y plus 5 equals negative x plus 5. Now then, I want the x on the right, or the x has got to go to the left, and this 5's got to go over here, doesn't it? So the opposite of positive 5 is negative 5. I'm going to get x plus y equals 5 minus 5 is 0. Piece of cake. Ho, 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 ho. Okay, let's go to number 3. This should get super easy today. The only thing you're got to learn to do today is to flip the slope and switch the sign. Same thing you did yesterday. Okay, let's do number 3. I'm going to do 2 more and that's it. So our slope is 1/2, and this is my x, this is my y. I'm going to put 1/2 down, and I'm going to draw an arrow and put a perpendicular symbol. I'm going to flip that slope and switch the sign. So if I flip 1 over 2, I'll get 2 over 1, which is just 2, and the positive will become a negative. So that's going to be my new m in it. Now that I'm going to plug that slope and the point into point slope. So y minus 5 equals negative 2 parentheses x plus 4. This will be pretty simple because we don't have a fraction, right? If you don't have a fraction, you don't have to get rid of it. So let's distribute the negative 2. We're going to bluebell truck it. Bluebell is good. Okay, now then, y minus 5 equals negative 2x minus 8, right? It did it again. Jiminy crickets. Something's wrong with my computer. Let me open up the Jiminy crickets. I hope this doesn't happen a lot. Gotta crank it and get the PDF program opening. Unbelievable. I'll need to shut down my computer and restart it after this one. Thank you for being patient while I crank my computer to get it working again. And bam, we are back. I need to start recording this. So I need to go to here, not to that one, to this one, share the screen. I want to share this screen, and we are back. You should see the whiteboard again. Oh. Okay, so we're going to multiply by negative 2, negative 2x. Let me get my pen working. Minus 8. Now then, I want this in slope-intercept, so all I got to do is move over the negative 5, which will turn into a plus 5, right? This is going to be a piece of cake because there's nothing in front of the y. So y equals negative 2x minus 3, and that's it. Oh, piece of cake. And we got to do one more. One more. Let's go over here. Okay, in standard form, you got to find your slope, right? So we're going to do negative a over b. So put negative fraction bar. My a is 4, and my b is negative 1. Two negatives makes a positive. So that's my slope of that line. Now then I need the perpendicular slope, don't I? So let's label our x and y. We're going to put down 4 for our slope, draw an arrow, and put a perpendicular symbol. We're going to flip 4 over 1, which will be 1 over 4, and then the positive will turn into a negative, so this is our slope, isn't it? So we're going to plug the slope and the point into point slope. So let's do that. Y, the opposite of positive 2 is minus 2, equals negative 1 over 4, parentheses, x plus 5. So I just plugged the point and the slope into point slope. I got a fraction, so I got to multiply. So I'm going to do 4, 4, and 4. You do not multiply the negative, just the denominator. Then you multiply. 4 times y is 4y. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8, equals, the 4's cancel out, and my bluebell truck's going to be negative 1. So I'm going to get negative x minus 5. Oh! Now then, to get the answer, I need to move the x to the left, and I need to move the 8 to the right, don't I? The opposite of minus 8 is plus 8, so I'm going to put that by the 5. Now then, I'm going to write down my answer. The opposite of negative x is positive x, which is cool. We don't have to switch the signs, do we? Then we're going to put plus 4y equals negative 5 plus 8 is 3. Oh, what a blast. Fun, fun stuff. Okay, you're going to finish the rest of this up on your own. I'm sorry, this thing is messing up. I'll restart it. Hopefully the next recording works. Thank you for being great students today. You are amazing. Thank you for doing your work. You're doing great. Your test scores are like phenomenal. Thank you so much. Mr. Toops appreciates it. Can't wait till you're in the room, in my classroom, where I could see you smile, okay? You're amazing. You were made to do wonderful things, and you are awesome.